Добрый вечер. Сегодня у нас, как и обещано, будет «Чистовая работа», пересказ нашего произведения «20 тысяч лье под водой» нашего любимого писателя. Давайте, чтобы оно как-то в голове это все у нас уложилось, я это перечитаю все, что у нас написано. Там у нас и текст другой, но я уже с этим как бы потом буду разбираться отдельно. И, конечно, к этому видео стоило мне подготовиться больше, но я этого не сделал, потому что время, деньги. А видео надо... посмотрим, что получится. Если я буду сильно застревать там, то или долго гуглёж будет занимать, то я буду эти моменты постараюсь вырезать. Но тем не менее. И вот после того, как я это прочитаю, мы так и уже будем продолжать дальше на английском. Как я обещал, это видео будет на английском языке. Особенно вот для тех, я думаю, будет полезно, кто следовал всем видео смотрел все видео до этого, которые были на русском. Но текст вам уже должен быть намного более знаком, и вот как бы я думаю, что здесь нам английский не помешает. Поэтому давайте я перечитаю все, и потом уже буду продолжать, остаток видео будет на английском языке. A very large elongated object. It's joke. I kid. A very large elongated object was first spotted back in 1866. Do you remember I put noticed I put there before? That was a wrong choice of word. Was spotted back in 1866. Scientists assumed it was an unknown sea beast. A year later, it attacked it. Oh, we have it capitalized. Okay. It attacked and breached the hull of a ship. Pierced. Okay. Is that the original? Okay. To go out to sea became riskier. All countries denied their involvement, and the scientists became convinced that this was some kind of a sea monster. It was decided to kill the beast. Aronnax, still don't know how to pronounce it right. Aronnax, with his loyal servant Conswell, led the expedition. Ned Land, a Canadian harpooner, came along. They had been at sea for... Past perfect. They had been at sea for 3 months. This actually belongs here, but there's another one later that's... No, but I'll leave it there. They had been at sea for 3 months when they saw the narwhal. I think we found that word together, because I didn't know it. Neither guns nor harpoons could penetrate the thick skin of the beast. In the heat of the battle, all three fell overboard. Maybe all three will... Okay. Having almost drowned, they managed to climb onto the narwhal's back. The beast kept gaining speed and soon started to submerge. The men started to bang. They started banging. Actually, started banging maybe on the metal body. Then the hatch opened and 8 guys with masked faces came out and took the 3 inside. Captain Nemo was in charge. He promised to let the prisoners out of the room on one condition: they would remain on the boat and not interfere. Nemo had developed his mysterious project Nautilus himself. Probably okay here. That's not the one I was referring to earlier. Nemo had developed his mysterious project Nautilus himself, specifically for... I said especially, then I thought that, well, why especially when specifically is going to be so much better, but there is actually specifically. For an underwater trip around the world. Aronnax started to observe the deep ocean and write everything down in his diary. The professor now wanted to complete this trip around the world together with Nemo and stop thinking of escape, unlike Ned. While they were at sea, the travelers had faced danger many times. This had faced... we don't need it here. But I'm going to leave it in the text just so we can see what the not the teacher, but whoever grades it. I just want him to see it and give their opinion, give his opinion. I know who it's going to be. Give his opinion on what this, how it looks here. Which, I mean, at least unnecessary. I would argue it's a grammatical kind of a mistake, but not really. I mean, you can argue either way, but it's definitely not needed there. But okay. Travelers had faced danger many times. They were attacked by bloodthirsty tribes, sharks, giant squid, and devastating storms. During one of those storms, Nautilus was washed ashore. Why do I keep saying this? Washed ashore. Was washed ashore. Okay. It was then that the travelers found the wreckage of Avenger, the legendary vessel of the French Revolution. In its travels, Nautilus ran into an unknown vessel. Ned started signaling for help, which made Nemo angry. Nautilus came under fire, but Nemo managed to sink the enemy, ignoring Aronnax's pleas to spare the lives of the people on board. After the battle, the captain came up to a portrait depicting a beautiful woman and 2 children and cried. After this, the captain almost didn't leave his cabin. Ned decided to use this opportunity to escape. They got into the lifeboat, but it was drawn into a whirlpool. The escapees almost thought of returning back, but got separated from the ship. Aronnax hit his head and lost consciousness. He regained his consciousness on an island in a fisherman's hut. His friends were there with him. Nobody knew anything about Nemo. Aronnax gathered all his notes and published them. This is the text. It is awkward. It's not a good text, but we're going to make it better. And then in the next video, hopefully we can make it not too bad at all. I don't know. We'll see. What are these sounds? Not too bad at all, he says. A very large, elongated object was first spotted back in 1866. Maybe the first mention, the first seeing, the first sighting, I mean. The first sighting of this object occurred. Oh. Maybe. The first sighting of this very large elongated object was back in 1860. Okay, very large elongated. I don't like the word elongated here, but I don't know if I can find any good synonyms here, but elongated, it works. Doesn't work very well. A very large, you can say enormous, humongous, and very large is fine, I think. Although we know that, don't say very. Native speakers don't say very. We're gonna take that risk and say it. A very large, elongated object was first spotted back in 1866. We'll leave it alone because we'll have another chance at correcting it after the review, after the revision, the grade. Well, it's not gonna be graded, but it's gonna be reviewed, revised. Scientists assumed that it was an unknown, that it was some kind of an unknown sea, this was some kind of an unknown sea beast, because an unknown, I don't know, a year later it attacked it. I don't know if this is going to create that emotional effect that we're looking for here, just that we did here by capitalizing it. I think it looks weird. I think it looks just like a grammatical error, but we'll see. We'll leave it here. The beast. We didn't want to put the beast everywhere, so maybe. A year later, it attacked and breached the hull of a ship. Breached. I think we used pierced before, and we didn't like it so much. We put breached the hull breach, I think, and breached the hull of it did, and breached the hull of a ship. It attacked the ship and breached its hull. It attacked It attacked a ship. Breaching. Oh, I remember, because we didn't want to do it or she or something. That's why we put this weird, not weird, but that's why we wrote it this way. But I think it's will be fine. I mean, we're not sailors. It's gonna be forgiven. All is forgiven. If not, I mean, I'm gonna take responsibility for that. A year later, it attacked a ship, breaching its hull. The ship breaching its hull. Oh my God, dangling participle. Gosh darn it. Comma to the rescue. I think that comma will help us, or not. Again, it's going to be reviewed. I shouldn't be so stressed about it. It became risky. Let's do it. Became riskier to go out to sea. Again, to go out to sea, I'm not sure if this is the best we can do. I'm not even sure if it's 100% correct, but whatever. It works. It's better. It's going to be better than it was in the last video. I think that's what we're going for. Just improvement in general. And then after this, there's going to be a little more improvement. All countries denied. All the countries. We talked about this. We considered this. Other countries and countries. Really difficult to say what it means. None of the countries, no country was willing to take. Look at this. No country was willing to take responsibility for the sinking or for the incident. For the incident, comma, and the scientists became convinced that the creature. Let's do creature. Let's look for creature. How many times do we have it here? 0 times? Woohoo! Great candidate for. What about monster? Beast? Monster? Convinced that this was. No country was willing to take responsibility for the incident, and the scientists became convinced that some kind of a sea monster, that this unknown sea monster was to blame. Let's put it here. I said that we would stray away a little bit from that, from the original summary. For the incident, that the scientists became convinced that this. We can do convinced that this was the deed of the mysterious sea monster, but that this was the what? How did I? No country was willing to take responsibility for the incident, and the scientists became convinced that this unknown that the mysterious sea monster was to blame. I think this is much better, if not pretty good. I don't know. No country was willing to take responsibility for the incident. Okay, really quick Google time. Take responsibility. I don't think we need the there, but take responsibility for the take responsibility. Okay. Yeah. Good. Never hurts to check. All right, one paragraph down. Woohoo! 5 to go. It was decided to kill the beast. It was eventually decided. It was. Let's give people a little bit of a credit because it was decided to kill the beast. Let's go kill the beast. Like, let's just say it was eventually. I don't know what the keyboard. How noisy is the keyboard? Let's do some real-time adjustments to it. Whatever we can do. It was eventually decided to kill the beast. Aronnax with... Who's Aronnax? He has not been introduced yet. Alright, let's do... let's do another passive voice. The expedition was led by Professor, capitalized or not? Professor Boom. Shoot titles. AP style. I don't know if we're following AP style. Chicago. We don't follow it. We're not following any style. We're just scrambling to style, you say. Capital. Professor Severus Snape. Severus Snape, professor of... okay, professor... Okay, let's do this. AP style, whatever. Professor, capitalized. It needs more Googling, obviously, but whatever. The expedition was led by Professor Aronnax, accompanied by his loyal servant Conseil. Don't know how to pronounce it. Conseil. Conseil? Conseil? What? Why is it not underlining it? You didn't know the word, now you do? Alright. That's fine with me. Ned Land, a Canadian harpooner, came along with who, with how. There is no information about the ship. I think the ship was American. The ship was American. There is no information about that. Ned Land, a Canadian harpooner, came along for the whatever. Ned, get on the boat. Let's go. They had been at sea for... Let's use the words. Ned Land, a Canadian harpooner, came along. They had been at sea for 3 months when they saw the narwhal. When they finally saw the narwhal. Neither the guns. Let's do... Or let's do... both guns and harpoons were useless. Against gosh darn it. Both guns and the guns neither the guns nor the harpoons could penetrate the thick skin of the beast. Whatever, leave it like this. Whatever. In the heat of the battle, all three who? Characters. The three... Let's replace them with actual names again. remind people who we mean, because especially Ned, we don't like. Aeronax, I already know, 1 R, 2 N. Conseil. I use Oxford comma. Thank you very much. And I recommend that you do. In the heat of the... Because sometimes it brings clarity. Sometimes it's like an extra comma everybody hates, but sometimes it really makes a difference. Aeronax, conceal, whatever, the dude, conceal, and Ned. In the heat of the battle. Let's do the other way around. Aeronax, conceal, like start with the names. And then say that they fell overboard in the heat of the battle. In the heat of the battle. Having almost drowned, they managed to climb onto the narwhal's back. The beast kept gaining speed. It's kind of... We don't even know that it's moving, like... We can just say kept speeding up, or... the beast onto the... Having almost drowned, they managed to... Having almost drowned... That's fine. No, it's fine. They managed to climb onto the narwhal's back. The beast kept gaining speed and soon started to began to submerge. Began submerging. Started to submerge. Began to submerge. Wow, whatever. Don't care. The men, okay, started to bang on a metal body. Do we know that it's the hull? Like, see, like, do we use the word body here, or is the hull now appropriate? Because it's still a beast. It's almost a boat. Like, we don't know what's going on in their minds. But the men started to bang on the metal body, on the metal body. Then a hatch. Why the hatch? Or the hatch again? It's. Let's just say a hatch. Like, they started banging and something opened, like a hatch. Oh, because the hatch would mean that they saw something. Because as far as we know, they may still be thinking it's an animal, right? So a hatch opened, and they're like, "Oh my God, surprise!" Like, metal body wasn't a clear enough message, but okay. Then the hatch opened and 8 again replaced them with. If we can spell 8, who can spell 8? Raise a hand. 8. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. The bang on the metal body. Then a hatch opened and 8 guys. I don't like guys. Guy. 8. 8. Really don't like the word guy here. It's just like, hey, some 8 guys came out. You know, we need to show... What, militants? No. Guys. Peoples. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. How do you... Nah. What did you do? Did I ask you? I guess I did, but that's not the point. The beast kept gaining speed and soon started to began to submerge. I just want to say began to submerge. Let's do begin. To submerge. The men started to bang on the metal body of the beast. Let's do that. A little more clarity. Then a hatch opened and 8 people. There you go. People. with masked faces came out and took the three inside. I think the three here is more appropriate because we already repeated their names earlier. So the three, I think we know which three, because the 8, it's now 8 against 3. So it's kind of not as easy to get confused that, 8 people came out, 3 people were banging on a metal body of the fish, of the whale. Same thing. Whales are fish, right? Captain Nemo was in charge. I really hate this one, but I remember that we struggled with this because it was like in charge of the beast, in charge of the boat, in charge of the beast. We didn't know. In charge. Let's do in charge was Captain Nemo. I think I floated the idea of this. Again, we capitalize the title. Don't know if we should. In charge was Captain Nemo. Short, concise. I hope we're right. He promised to let the prisoners. I don't like the word prisoners here either. The captives. Pew, pew, pew. He promised to let the captives out. Okay, now I like the prisoners more. Let the captives out. Let the detainees. No, too official. Prisoners. Well, it's not really prisoners. Well, prisoners. Yeah, they took him inside. They dragged them inside the boat. So let's leave prisoners. Whatever. It's not the worst choice. He promised to let the prisoners out of the room on one condition. They would remain on the boat and not interfere with day-to-day operations. Day-to-day. Day-to-day hyphenized. Maybe not. Day to day, did you come here to die? No, I came here yesterday. It was a joke, it was a meme. Taking place, oh, well, we don't need to. But yeah, okay, hyphen. Yeah. With day to day. With the day to day operations. I just wanted to kind of, it's too dry. I mean, it's dry to the point that it's too dry. No good. Nemo had developed his mysterious Project Nautilus himself. Again, I would just say, okay, let's do had developed at the time when he was telling, whatever. We'll see if this gets corrected. Nemo had developed his mysterious Project Nautilus himself, specifically to be capable of. Yeah, we need to not just specifically for a trip, but specifically so that it could handle that trip. Specifically to be capable of specifically and Nautilus himself. To be specifically, okay, to be capable of an underwater trip around the world. Underwater trip around the world. Circumnavigate, not good. Capable of an underwater trip around the world. Whatever. Okay, we leave it. Aronnax started to observe is like more attention, maybe admire, take notes. Oh, look at this. Started to take notes of his observations of the deep ocean. it's so much easier to write when you have some kind of freedom, when you're not tied to the original text, because that thing was killing me. I mean, you can probably tell from my mood that every time we did a writing video, it was, I felt okay because I was excited, but at the same time, the challenge was overwhelming. Enormous challenges we had to face, my friends. The professor now wanted to complete this trip around the world together with Nemo. See, it's not really. The professor was now becoming convinced that he wanted to complete this trip around the world together with Nemo. Можно, sometimes I forget what language, where, yeah. The professor was now becoming convinced that he wanted to complete this trip around the world together with Nemo. Now we don't really need that together there. The professor was now becoming convinced that he wanted to complete this trip around the world together with Nemo. Along with Nemo, nah. It's fine. Nemo and together with Nemo and stop thinking of escape. That's too much now. This is not really working for us. I mean, it may, but I guess we can start with he. The professor let's do unlike Ned. Let's start that. Let's start with this. Let's get Ned out of the way. He's always trouble. Unlike Ned, the professor was now becoming the professor wasn't thinking of escape no more anymore. Was I don't like this now. The professor stopped thinking of escape. The professor of escape, and was now becoming convinced that he wanted to complete this trip around the world together with Nemo. I don't know. Maybe better, maybe I made it worse, because again, now, my attention is wandering. I don't know. We'll see. He stopped thinking of escape. Sorry. I hope you don't speak Russian. While they were at sea, the travelers had faced. I'm going to leave this intentionally. I just want to see the reaction. But again, I'm going to repeat myself. I don't think we really need this had faced danger many times. I just want to see at least if it's they were attacked by bloodthirsty tribes, sharks, giant squid, and devastating storms. We're gonna leave this. Bloodthirsty tribes, sharks. We already looked at that. I don't know if we can make it much better. Unless article attacked by tribes, sharks, a giant squid, and speaking of that, a giant squid and devastating storms. I don't know about the whatever. During one of those storms, Nautilus was washed ashore. I was about to say, but no. Washed ashore, like normal people say it. Nautilus was washed ashore. How hard it is to say? How hard is it to say? Nautilus was washed ashore. Okay. So, Nautilus was washed ashore. It was then that the travelers found the wreckage of Avenger, the legendary vessel of the French Revolution. I don't know what to add here. I don't know what to change. I don't like it a lot, but I just don't have a better option here. So we're going to go with this one. Hopefully it's not bad. I mean, we will find out. In its travels. I don't like this. Let's change these two things. While they were at sea. And in its travels. In their travels. Jesus Christ. Oh no! In their travels, well, again, it's not adventure. I mean, the travelers will fit nicely, but during their journey, in their what are the synonyms to the word travel? Travel. Oh, I mean travel synonyms. Journey, peregrinate. I don't even know that word. Pilgrimage. Come on, stop it. Tour, track. Come on, stop it. Give me good words. Driving, of course. Yeah, excursion, flying, movement, navigation, rides, sailing. Sailing. We can use sailing. Sightseeing. I hope it's not just for... Yeah, any boat can sail, I think. I think, again, marine terminology. Tour, transit, track, trip, biking. Yeah, sure, biking. Commutation. Cruising, drive, expedition, hop, junket, passage, peregrination. Oh, that may be the same word. Ramble, riding, seafaring. Maybe. Swing, touring, trekking. What was it? Sailing. In their... Alright, during their journey. I mean... During their journey, the travelers had faced danger many times. Again, this unnecessary, but whatever, danger many times. They were attacked by bloodthirsty tribes, sharks, a giant squid, and devastating storms. During one of those storms, Nautilus was washed ashore, as I said before. It was then washed ashore. Nautilus was washed ashore. It was then that the travelers found the wreckage of Avenger, the legendary vessel of French Revolution. Whatever. I mean, whatever means it's okay. While they were at sea, the simpler the better. While at sea, Nautilus ran into an unknown vessel. I guess we can say encountered. An unknown vessel. Ned started signaling for help, which made Nemo angry. The battle ensued. Oh, I have not used that word in my active vocabulary. It is time, my friends. It is time. Ensue. To strive to attack. What? Phew, scared me. I thought I misunderstood the meaning of it. To take place afterward or as a result. Sure, as a result of Ned signaling for help, yeah. Words were exchanged and OSU staff got in the middle of a breakup and before a scuffle of any kind could ensue. Well, yeah, this is pretty much what... Active vocabulary is a tricky beast. You try to be more advanced, you try to use more exotic vocabulary, you end up making a fool out of yourself. That's what I'm risking right now. Exactly that. Ned started signaling for help, which made Nemo angry. The battle ensued, and Nautilus came under fire. I don't think we really need to specify that anymore because it was a battle. Everybody was under fire. Instead of but Nemo, I'll just say and Nemo. Oh, already have that. The battle ensued, and Nemo managed to sink the enemy. Ignoring Aronnax, please, again, the transition is killing me. Like, we don't have any smooth transitions. It's like, this, snap. Like, Aronnax decided to go. Snap, Aronnax, dead. Ned started signaling for help. Boom. The boat got drawn into a whirlpool. You know, it's like, there is no logic. There is no development here. It's like a list of stuff, but it's not enumerated. I don't know what to think, but we're making it better. We're making it better. While at sea, Nautilus encountered an unknown vessel. That's fine. Ned started signaling for help, which made Nemo angry. The battle ensued, and Nemo managed to and Nemo but. Let's do but again. Let's do but again. Go back to the buts, to the roots. Well, not that, but the battle ensued, but Nemo managed to sink the enemy ship, enemy vessel. Do we have a vessel? Vessel already there, but ship. To sink the enemy ship, ignoring Aronnax's pleas to spare the lives of the people on board. After the battle, is that okay to repeat the word battle here? Battle. I think it's not too bad. After the battle, following the battle, actually, it's fine. I think we can afford to say battle, like that close together. I don't think it's that bad. The scuffle. Sorry, need to Google that. Now I said it. Scuffle like a skirmish type scuffle. To struggle at close quarters with disorder and confusion, to struggle as we're working odd jobs to get by, to move with a quick shuffling gait.
Scuffle.
I don't know if that's enough. It is not enough. To scuffle, like to live in tight, like uncomfort. To struggle or fight in a rough, confused manner. Ooh, okay. Scuffle. Yay. Now, skirmish. Skirmish is probably like столкновение, something like that. Did I Jesus Christ. There you go. Skirmish.
Skirmish.
Military, a fight between small bodies of troops. Okay, that's fine. Go back to the text. After the battle, the captain, the struggle, like we could put something here, but I think here we really need, like the battle is fine there, I think. Okay, after the battle, the captain walked up, because came up is not, let's just walked up to a portrait depicting a beautiful woman, or a portrait of, had my doubts about portraits of multiple people, but I think that one is fine. Portrait of a lady on fire, of a lady on fire, inspired of a lady, portrait of, I don't think, we're gonna find the answer here, but blah blah blah. Portrait versus landscape. Portrait doesn't have to include a person. Okay, that's even So anything can be a portrait. Okay, that's good. Depicting, when it comes to drawing realistic depicting oneself across. Let's do depicting. Let's leave depicting there. But it's not really, I don't like it. It's not, don't like it, don't put it. Okay? After the battle, the captain walked up to a portrait of a beautiful woman and 2 children and cried, whatever. That's whatever. After these events, maybe, after this what? After these events, the captain almost didn't leave the cabin. There's a problem here. The captain rarely left his cabin, or barely left his cabin. The captain barely left his cabin. Ned decided to use this opportunity to escape. To use this opportunity in order to escape, or use this opportunity to make us. This is fine. Stop doing it. Ned decided to use this opportunity to escape. They got into the boat. The three prisoners. Where are the escapees? Okay, this is nice. Especially that we replaced prisoners somewhere up in the text with something else. The prisoners got into the lifeboat. But let's do the boat again, because it, not clear, but the boat was drawn into a whirlpool, and got drawn, no, it's too much, was drawn into a whirlpool. Okay, the escapees almost thought of returning. That's fine. Going back to the boat, going back to the ship, but we're separated from it. Separated from the ship. Going back. Let's just do going back. Returning back is just, it pisses me off, and I was the one who put it there, so I need to be the one who takes it out. The escapees almost thought of going back, almost started thinking of going back, but they got separated from the the ship. Aronnax bumped his head and knocked himself unconscious, because we have consciousness, I remember, in the next sentence, in the very next sentence, and that sucks, stylistically speaking. Aronnax bumped his head, rendered himself unconscious, but that would be too much. Knocked himself unconscious. Did I spell it right this time? I'm afraid I did. Wait. Gain his consciousness. Well, maybe. At least it's not consciousness, but knocked himself out is gonna be too common, too peasant for us. Aronnax bumped his head and knocked himself unconscious. He regained his consciousness. Okay, this is not bad, because at least it's not the same word. It sounds like it has the same root, but whatever. He regained his consciousness on an island in a fisherman's hut. In a fisherman's hut. I still haven't read the rules about it, but I just have a feeling that we need to. In a hut on a fisherman's island. Let's do that. On a fishing island. I don't know if this is fisherman's. On some island, let's do in a fisherman's hut, because otherwise we change the meaning. He regained his consciousness in a fisherman's hut on some island. I think that will be better. His friends were there with him. Let's try another thing here, just to see what the reaction is going to be. Again, I don't think this is necessary, needed. I don't know. It's not bad, probably, but we'll find out. Nobody knew anything about Nemo's fate. Remember, we wanted to use fate. I wanted to use fate. Nobody let me. Now I'm going to do it. Nobody knew anything about Nemo's fate. Aronnax gathered all his notes and published them. Where do we have notes and notebook? Started, no miss, no escape. Like Ned, the professor stopped thinking of escape and was now becoming convinced that... okay, before that. Aronnax started to take started. Do we have started? Started to take notes of his observations of the... Notes on... Jesus. On his observations of the deep ocean. See, every time you look, there's something to change. There is always something to improve. That process never stops, and that's why I am never sure. That's why I will never say it is great, it is as good as it can be, because things are never as good as they can be. They're never as bad as they can be, they're never as good as they can be. They're always okay. The world is an okay place. Things are okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not make mistakes. Let's read the whole thing and wrap it up. A very large, elongated... It sucks, but okay. But okay. We'll see. We'll see. A very large, elongated object was first spotted... This very large... Okay. Okay. This very large, elongated object was first spotted... Some very... Oh, this is good. A very large, elongated object was first spotted back in 1866. Scientists assumed it was some kind of an unknown sea beast. Rare sea beast? I don't know. A year later, it attacked the ship. Attacked a ship. I don't think this will do that emotional... It will have that emotional appeal, emotional... power, well, power to invoke emotion. I don't think it'll work for us. I think it's just, it looks silly, it looks weird, but okay. A year later, it attacked the ship, breaching its hull. Okay. Do we need that comma there? Do we really need that comma? Don't care. It became riskier to go out to sea. I don't like this one. Maybe we can be correct. We'll see. No country was willing to take the responsibility for the incident. And the scientists became convinced that the mysterious sea monster was to blame for the incident. Sea monster was to blame for it. Okay, let's leave it. Let's do that. It was eventually decided to kill the mysterious... do we have mysterious here? Mysterious project, mysterious beast. I think we can afford to use... nope. Too close. Alright, no mysterious for you. It was eventually decided to kill the beast. The expedition was led by Professor Aronnax, accompanied by his loyal servant Conseil. Ned Land, a Canadian harpooner, came along for the trip. for the trip. They had been at sea for 3 months when they finally saw the narwhal. Again, what narwhal? Like, there is not a single mention of it. All of a sudden, boom, narwhal. What the hell is a narwhal anyway? But okay. So let's do this at least. I don't know. Neither the guns nor the harpoons could penetrate the thick skin of the beast. Were able to... It's fine. We talked about that too. Whatever. Aronnax. Conseil. Why is it underlined here but not there? And Ned fell overboard in the heat of the battle. Not bad. Having almost drowned, they managed to climb onto the narwhal's back. I don't know if we should capitalize quotation marks. Not sure what we're gonna do with this, but again, if it's corrected, it'll be good. At least we'll know. Narwhal's back. The beast kept gaining speed and soon began to submerge. The men started to bang on the metal body of the beast. Then a hatch opened and 8 people with masked faces came out, came out and took the 3 inside. It's okay. In charge of the insides of the beast. In charge was Captain Nemo. Whatever. Maybe we can have some better ideas when we review this. He promised to let the prisoners out of the room on one condition: they would remain. Prisoners. Let's do captives then. Did we have captives in the beginning? Let the captives out. Whatever. He promised to let the captives out of the room on one condition: they would remain on the boat and not interfere with the day-to-day operations. Okay. Nemo had developed his mysterious Project Nautilus himself, specifically to be capable of an underwater trip around the world. Aronnax started to take notes on his observation of the deep ocean. It's okay. Unlike Ned, the professor stopped thinking of escape and was now becoming convinced that he wanted to complete this trip around the world together with Nemo. It sounds much better. It doesn't sound like... I wouldn't say it sounds great, but it sounds much better than it sounded before. We took care of some obvious grammatical problems, mistakes. And stylistically, I think we cleaned it up a little bit. I think it looked good, better. During their journey, the travelers had faced danger many times. Again, I just want to see the reaction. I just want to see how wrong it is. They were attacked by bloodthirsty tribes, sharks, a giant squid, and devastating storms. During one of those storms, Nautilus was washed ashore. Bad habits. Nautilus was washed ashore. That's how normal people say it. It was then that the travelers found the wreckage of Avenger. I don't like this is like some kind of a key event there, but it doesn't get any more development. So I don't know. It was then, and then there was nothing. So I don't know. But okay. It was then that the travelers found the wreckage of Avenger, the legendary vessel of the French Revolution. While at sea, Nautilus encountered an unknown vessel. Better than before. Ned started signaling for help, which made Nemo angry. The battle ensued, but you can take this as somebody trying to be advanced C1 advanced test taker, but maybe no. Maybe I'm too harsh on myself. I don't know. The battle ensued, but Nemo managed to sink the enemy ship, ignoring Aronnax's pleas to spare the lives of the people on board. I don't like this sentence, but okay. Moving on. After the battle, the captain walked up to a portrait of a beautiful woman and 2 children. Again, can you have a portrait of more than one person? Apparently you can. So, of a portrait of or a portrait depicting. I didn't want to put depicting there because depicting, I don't know. A portrait of, the shorter the better. to a portrait of a beautiful woman and two children, and cried. So he walked up and cried. I hope, again, we will see how good this sentence is. After these events, okay, fair enough, the captain barely left his cabin. Ned decided to use this opportunity. Again, it's more continuous here, like there was some time, but Ned decided, again, it could use some brushing up, I don't know, some fine tuning, but I don't know. Ned decided to use this opportunity to escape. The prisoners got into the boat, but the boat was drawn into a whirlpool. The boat, I think it can be forgiven in this case. The escapees almost started thinking of going back, but they got separated from the ship. They became separated. Let's do became. But they became separated from the ship. Aronnax bumped his head and knocked himself unconscious. He regained his consciousness in a fisherman's hut on some island. His friends were there with him. I don't even think we need this semicolon. A comma will suffice. His friends were there with him. Nobody knew anything about Nemo's fate. It's a little too dry, but okay. Aronnax gathered all his notes and published them in a newspaper. Okay, so this is the text. This is the way. This is how it's going to go. Actually, let me switch back to Russian. Linguardia laviosa. И вот все опять по-русски. Видите, как я умею. В общем, вот в таком виде оно и уйдет, как говорится, к нашему редактору, так сказать, то есть на проверку. Вот в этом виде оно пойдет. Там одну вещь я специально оставил, то есть она там не очень хорошо подходит. Я не знаю, я хочу просто увидеть его мнение вот насчет этого head face danger. Исправит хорошо. Ну, там еще другое, что исправлять. Стилистически есть много чего исправлять. Но, в принципе, оно намного... Вот мы заменили вроде как ерунду, как бы не особо так уж сильно мы его поменяли, но оно намного лучше стало, оно намного бодрее стало выглядеть, чем вот то, как оно выглядело по окончанию, ну, вот в начале этого видео. То есть даже мелочи, которые мы поменяли, в принципе... Особо мы так его и не мучили, но вот даже те мелочи, мне оно сейчас намного больше нравится. Естественно, если бы я его сдавал на проверку на оценку, ну, то есть не для развлекательных целей, а именно если бы это было более серьезное какое-то произведение, я бы его еще перечитывал, еще бы лез и еще бы старался... То есть много чего я бы придрался, в принципе, к почти каждому или через предложение, или почти каждому. В частности, немножко сухо, немножко нет, как это называется, continuity, то есть события как-то резко очень переходят одно в другое. Ну, со словами вроде как, вот с лексикой, вроде как более-менее нормально, не знаю. Там есть еще какие-то про scientists, не знаю, вот это very large elongated object я бы заменил на что-то покрасивше. In charge with Captain Nemo не очень нравится, такое. Ну, в принципе, я думаю, что уже есть с чем работать. Поэтому следующее видео я еще не решил, будет оно на английском или на русском. Я склоняюсь к тому, чтобы сделать его все-таки на русском, потому что, уже будут ошибки. То есть мы будем просто обсуждать ошибки, а не именно сам текст. Поэтому я хочу на русском языке его сделать, но я в Телеграме там сделаю опрос. Посмотрим, кто из многочисленного личного состава нашей группы, там, по-моему, у нас человек 17 уже набралось. Из них, может, 2, если проголосуют, посмотрим, как они проголосуют, ну и плюс я свое мнение. Я думаю, что на русском все-таки захочу делать. Пишите в комментариях, пожалуйста, на каком языке вы хотели бы следующее видео. Это займет немножко времени, то есть пока оно там проверится, то есть вряд ли оно выйдет на следующей неделе. Или даже, то есть с видео подождем немножко с этой проверкой, там пусть будет. У меня есть другие видео, в частности, я купил для рисования досочку и буду открывать новую рубрику, там такой рисовалки. Вот может еще парочку видео оттуда будет, и И еще у меня есть одно большое объявление о там, изменении грамматики, терминологии английского языка. То есть это тоже может выйдет отдельным видео, потому что там, наверное, стоит будет объяснить, зачем это все происходит. Все, на сегодня. Спасибо вам большое. Как всегда, вы молодцы, молодцы, терпежники большие. То есть не каждый может высидеть час и 5 минут, и 5 секунд, 7 секунд, 8. Все, большое, классно. Спасибо вам вот такое огромное. И мы с вами встретимся в следующих видео на нашем чудесном канале. Всем пока.